So my friend's mom has planned her burial. Hmm. I'm talking about down to the details of it, how it will go as well, what she'll wear, even down to the nails she's going to put on. She has even paid for the burial. It's different, it's new, it's curious, right? Is this something I would do? I've asked myself. Well, before I answer that question, let's get into why burials are such a production these days that it is so tedious. My former landlady at a property that I rented some years ago for a shop asked me for a loan, and the essence of the loan was to re-roof their house in the village to a more modern roof. And this was in preparation for the burial of her husband. I think she also needed some money to just have some really trendy t-shirts and everything. Basically, they were looking to make a statement in the village. Okay, so now that had me thinking like, hey, what? And the reason why is because I know for a fact that that family was struggling financially when that man was alive. It was bad. And not just that, this man had complications with his health. He wasn't in good shape with his body and with his mind. There was some mental health issue that I believe was a fallout from some other complications with his health. I know he had diabetes. I know he needed to be on certain diet, and I know that he didn't keep to the diet because lack of funds. So it's crazy how they want to go into debt to give him a befitting burial when he didn't even have a befitting life, when he didn't have a befitting existence. Doesn't make sense. This is somebody who was walking about barefooted just long hours. There was so much going on with him. There was so much going on with them that it didn't make sense that that was the time that they now needed to borrow money. Why do we major on the minor? Tell me why we give so much relevance to how a person is buried more than we think about how the person lived. Another story. So I was privy to um, some meetings about a certain woman's burial. Now, the culture where she comes from is such that they bury as a collective. So basically, they all contribute. The families, you know, extended families contribute. They have a register where they put your contribution for people's burials. And that register will be called up when it's time to bury you. So if you didn't contribute in the same measure that you gave to others, is how they're also going to met out the measure they're going to give to you. And then if you didn't, I don't know if it was something like there was a minimum amount. I'm not sure how it went. But the irony of this situation is that the woman that they were gathering to contribute for her burial was a woman who lived in penury, in poverty, in struggle, in frustration with her three children. She was a single mom, and the man who was responsible for the children had abandoned her. So this woman practically lived hand to mouth. It was like more or less handouts here and there from maybe friends, families. There wasn't any care. It would have made sense if the family had sat together and said, oh, let's contribute to something that will help this woman be financially empowered or that kind of thing. Tell me why. it made more sense for them to gather, quarrel, agree on contributions for her burial more than for when she was alive. I ask again, why do we major on the minor? You see, the way I look at life is like this. Some people will say, oh, you want to give them a good burial, it's your last respect, it's an honor you're giving to a person. But hey, how about you honor this person while they are alive? How about you give to this person what you think you want to give to them after they are gone while they're alive? You see, for me, the respect, the love, the care, the support, the warmth, the affection, the empathy that you think I deserve after I'm gone, no, give it to me while I'm alive. Give the accolades to the person while they are alive. Give somebody their flowers while they are alive. Some people get flowers for the first time when they die, especially men. And this is not limited to men, but I just needed to bring that point out concerning men, okay? So I believe that while somebody is alive, give them what you think that they deserve. Don't wait until they're gone and then a guilty conscience is pushing you to go over the top and be performative about it. Now, a personal story. My grandma, I love my grandma. She passed 2 years ago. But there was something grandma did that grandma shouldn't have done. So, my father and his siblings had two cows to bring concerning the burial. I'm not sure if it was something that they decided for themselves or if it was something that was foisted on them. I'm not sure about those details, but I do know that there was a third cow that they were not aware of that my grandma had promised to her maiden family. It was after she passed. When they went to inform the maiden family about their arrangements concerning the burial, planning was going on with the family, that they realized that she had pledged a cow to her family. So, without any consideration for the capacity of her children, and I know somebody's going to jump in here and say, I know she knows her children, she knows that they are capable, but you see, this is a personal pledge. You don't make personal pledges on top of other people's heads. You don't make personal pledges that you are not going to control the narrative. So that's where Mama didn't do quite well. If my grandma had required that cow while she was alive, if she had even made a demand on her children for a cow while she lived, I won't have a problem with it. But how come she's gone and then it's about making a statement or making some sort of status thing? And that's when she made a pledge for a cow that she's not going to give. So the point is, there's so much that goes on with burials that it's so much pressure. It's such a load for people, financially, mentally, and otherwise. And it really shouldn't be so. I mean, for crying out loud, some people are grieving still. Some people, their world has been just torn, shredded. They have no bearing. They are disillusioned. And then there are people who are making demands on them for more and more and more. And yes, I'm speaking about Umadaha and Umunna. Of all the times to make ridiculous demands, even if they are not ridiculous demands, of all the times, I don't understand it where they are making what's not important become the center stage thing when people are grieving. You brought mulch, you didn't bring the right one, you brought this, it's not the right one, you're supposed to give us that. Hey, where's our humanity? Where's our humanity? If we speak of last respects for the dead, why do all these family members, all these community people, all these umada, ndembopo, and umonna, why don't they have respect for the dead? Why? Where's their honor for the dead? You see that it's when somebody passes away and they want to bury. That's when you start to see a book, a long list of records. They're owing this. They're supposed to pay this. Dues, levies, payments that has now been inherited by the children who are not aware of this. And they need them to pay off. If not, there'll be trouble. Please now. The worst part is there are churches who are going to remind you of what your loved one that passed is owing before they will come and bury them. Please. Even this thing where we keep burials for a long time, somebody dies and then there's such a long drawn time before you bury them so that you can get money. It's too much pressure. There was a time in our culture, and I'll speak specifically about Igbo culture, that people were buried within days of their demise. But these days it's not so. And my mom has a theory about, well, it's now extended and it's lavish, right? She says when those blood money people needed to assuage their guilty conscience, then that's when it was like, oh no, we need to give our last respect, our last honor, because you know the dishonor that you did for that person. So some of them needed to assuage a guilty conscience, number one. And then number two, they needed to make a statement that they have arrived now. So that's when these things became more and more lavish and more complicated. Can we stop for a moment and think about what really is important? Burials are for closure, amongst other things. Can we let people just close the chapter quietly with as much dignity as they can muster in that time of their grief? Can we not put heavy loads on people, financial, mental, and otherwise on people? Now, I started with the story about my friend's mom that has planned her burial. She even said she doesn't want those pallbearers that will be dancing with her body. She's that detailed. Is this too much? Do you think people can plan their burials while they live? Do you think they can even go ahead and pay for them? Do you think people should take off the weight of their own burials from their family? Do you think burials are actually too much paparazzi, too much of a production? We need to tone it down. Do you think we should just open the floodgates and just, bury, just pump money there, make it big, make it loud and everything? We need to show them. We need to pepper them in this burial. Let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you next time with something else. Okay, bye.